Hey guys, welcome back to another video here. It is Monday, time which means it's time for another reaction video. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today we are reacting to the darkest Pixar theories that have been confirmed by the employees. So I'm excited to see what theories I have read that have actually been actually true. But yeah, let's go right into the video. Finally.
Pixar. A lot of us have at least one of these movies that we hold dear to our childhood hearts. So today we
I mean, it's like
here
Toy
at Most
Story,
Amazing
I would
Top
say.
10 figured we'd take a look at even more dark Disney Pixar theories that will make you see these films in a whole new light. List your favorite
Actually, no,
Pixar
wait.
movies down below. It's Toy Story.
I'm gonna
for
stop
me,
talking. I'm sorry.
100%.
I'm gonna
old
shut
school.
up.
You'll probably gather that from this list. All right, let's get into it. I'm your host, James, and these are the top 10 evil Disney Pixar theories confirmed by Disney employees. Let's start off with a pretty dark implication. The toys from Toy Story are practically immortal, right?
Yeah, I've seen
It's
this theory.
confirmed they don't require food or water and can theoretically go on living unless they're actively destroyed, like getting melted down or something. Even then, we're not completely sure if they'd lose their sentience. So, the question is, how long can toys be passed down from owner to owner before they're just completely unwanted, damaged beyond repair? Toys like Woody place almost all their self-worth in being played with, so what happens when nobody wants them anymore? New flashy toys, they come out every year, and all these Pixar movies, if they really do take place in the same universe, what are Woody and the crew doing in Wall-E's time? The Earth is ravaged, technology has advanced to the point where nobody's even playing with toys. It's hard not to imagine the toys are destined all for the same fate, to be abandoned. It's also sad to imagine them outliving every human they've ever cared about, so you're welcome for that idea. Next up on the list is
Yeah,
the
it's pretty
afterlife
sad.
from Coco. This one's almost less of a
Wait.
theory and more just something you can deduce from the logic that the world sets up. In the world of Coco, the souls of the dead end up in the afterlife, which is depicted as a pretty good time. I'd love to go there when I die. Sure, I mean, you'd be a skeleton, but I'll take it. Just looks like the best party you've ever been to, except it never ends. That is until you're forgotten. Once the people in the living world forget about you, you disappear from the afterlife. Now that kind of sucks. I'd rather party than disappear. That's a great album title right there. Rather party than disappear. But here's the extra dark part. The whole remembering the dead thing means that famous people and historical figures remain in the afterlife pretty much indefinitely. I mean, I guess one day they'll be forgotten, but take a very long time. And while there are great people who fall under that category, there are an equal number of awful ones. We got, evil dictators, people like that who we should never forget, mind you. But in the Coco universe, there are theoretically a lot of garbage souls partying in the afterlife, while so many good, honest, everyday people are eventually forgotten. And that's pretty dark. Up next, we have the Toy Story metaphor. This theory can either be Andy is actually playing out with his toys as his home life is seeping its way into his fictional world, or you can look at it as if the Toy Story movie itself is simply the metaphor. So, we don't see Andy's dad in the movies. There's a pretty popular theory that he's dead, but there's also a theory that Andy's parents are just divorced and that there's a lot going on in Andy's home life that we just don't see. That maybe Andy's mom got a new boyfriend and that his new father figure is entering into Andy's life, overshadowing his real father. Similar to the way Buzz becomes Andy's favorite shiny new toy, leaving Woody feeling. On the list, we have a Toy Story 2 theory that being Wheezy's true intentions. We all felt sorry for this
Thought to be Wheezy was a villain.
about Squeaky Penguin toy, and how could we not? He was just so pathetic and dusty and forgotten about.
God.
But there is a theory that's been floating around for a while, a very believable theory that Wheezy isn't as innocent as he lets on. Woody finds Wheezy stranded on the bookshelf, unable to call for help because of his broken squeaker. Andy's mom comes into the room and grabs Wheezy, deciding to sell him at the upcoming garage sale. Woody goes to save Wheezy, but ends up getting bought himself, and thus our story begins. This dark theory suggests that Wheezy wanted to get taken to the garage sale all along, knowing Woody would come to his rescue, and it was all done in
so
the hopes that Woody would be bought and taken out of the picture so that Wheezy would have a better chance of getting attention from Andy. Perhaps Wheezy was just toying with our emotions all along. Maybe he's not as squeaky clean as we once thought. So this next one is from Wreck-It Ralph. So yeah, it's technically not a Pixar movie, but I mean, it's Disney. It's 3D animated, close enough. So there's this theory about what Sergeant Calhoun was seeing when she was firing at the cybug that just ate her husband on their wedding day, mind you.
That's what I've seen. It's pretty
she
dark.
neglected to do a perimeter check, so right on the altar, this giant cybug bursts in and takes out her soon-to-be husband in one gulp. We cut to a shot of Calhoun firing at the creature, and we never see what she's actually looking at. But we can imagine it's obviously the cybug being shot up, which is definitely not the most kid-friendly thing to show. However, there's an even darker element at play here. Really, it's less of a theory and just a downright fact. Cybugs take on the form of what they consume. So there's a good chance she was looking into the face of her own husband as she was firing at the creature. So pretty gut-wrenching. At number 5, we have a theory.
I think again, I'm a doctor, to be honest. Like, that's just like the epitome of a doctor. Like, imagine seeing your child being eaten by a bug, and the bug becomes your child, and then you have to kill that bug. That's pretty dark, if you ask me. That's a really weird analogy I just gave, but whatever. We're just gonna roll with it.
From Monsters, Inc. concerning Randall. There are a few Randall-related Monsters, Inc. theories out there, which makes sense. He's a real creep. He definitely planted a lot of dark ideas in people's heads. This one isn't super dark or anything, but it does make you look at another Pixar character in a bit of a different light. Yes, it's a Toy Story Monsters, Inc. connection, that perhaps Randall was Andy's monster. A lot of you may have heard of this one. When we see Randall practicing his camouflage technique, we see him trying to blend in with several different backgrounds.
If you see me like moving around or something, it's because my mic is falling off of his boom arm blade stand. I hate it. I'm gonna get a new one soon, but yeah, sorry for the random sounds. Probably just gonna edit my own post, but for now, yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately.
One of which happens to be that iconic wallpaper seen in Andy's room. There's no reason really to believe that these two universes aren't connected. In fact, it's pretty much been confirmed, not only because of the various other Easter eggs sprinkled throughout the movies, but there is a canon comic book that sees Sid from Toy Story entering into the monster world. So, yeah, I can't really think of any reason why Randall, being one of these scarers entering into all these different doors around the world, wouldn't come across poor little Andy. I picture like Woody and Buzz just laying on the floor, that wide-eyed thing they always have, just watching this crazy lizard monster walk into Andy's room. They're just talking about it the next day. Buzz, did that lizard come in here again last night? Was that just a nightmare? Next up, we have another Toy Story 2 theory. This one being that perhaps Andy's mom was the previous owner of Jessie. While the films never, they don't explicitly say it, but there are some clues that really do support this theory. In Toy Story 2, we see a flashback of Jessie's life when somebody loved her. Awful. That being a girl named Emily who ended up abandoning her when she got older. The flashback shows Emily with a very similar appearance to Andy's mom, really, and she even has that cowboy hat that looks a lot like the one Andy wears. Perhaps Andy's mom is Emily, and she held on to that hat because she never stopped enjoying dressing up like a cowboy and passed the hat down to Andy. That would mean that Andy's mom just left Jessie behind in a box on the side of the road. How she raised such a good kid like Andy, I'll never know, though. Andy would never do something like that. Next up, we had the by and large theory. This one makes a lot of sense to the point where it's kind of hard not to believe. It's pretty much just a confirmed thing. We all know how present the B&L Corporation is in WALL-E, having been responsible for the mass consumerism that left Earth uninhabitable, but we actually see B&L in various Pixar films, leading to the theory that the corporation was growing in power all throughout the Pixar timeline, and that it's the connective glue that holds all the films together. Buzz's batteries in his back are made by B&L. We see the logo show up in Cars. There's even a theory that states that B&L was responsible for the bulldozing of Carl's home and Up. If this is really the case, it definitely adds a dark layer to these movies, knowing that this seedy company was increasingly growing in power behind the scenes while all this other kind of friendly stuff was going on.
Oh, just a coincidence. Can't really talk about that. It's an Easter egg that they put in as a joke. It doesn't have to be like something big. I can't really say that.
Speaking of by and large, though, let's talk about another dark Toy Story theory. So we discussed those batteries and Buzz's back with the BNL logo on them. Well, this next theory dictates that BNL was responsible for causing the sentience of all the toys in the Toy Story movies, having imbued them with advanced artificial intelligence technology. In all honesty, I think this theory is pretty dumb. I think the toys are alive because it's a kid's movie and they just are alive, but it's kind of fun to imagine that maybe there's something darker going on, I guess. And considering that all these movies have been confirmed to take place in the same universe, I suppose it's possible. And coming in.
This is just like production. There's like a chip in like Woody's brain, and like had that be the AI, like that's pretty. Honestly, that'd be pretty terrifying. Honestly, not think about it, having AI toys. And never mind.
At number one, here's a theory that's been discussed plenty of times, even on this channel, but I gotta mention it because it has indeed been confirmed by the creative director of the series, Jay Ward. The theory was that the cars from the film Cars were responsible for the downfall of humanity. The cars were created by humans as artificial intelligence and were programmed to serve their owners. However, over time, the cars became self-aware and began to resent their human creators. In an act of rebellion, the cars rose up against their human masters, which led to the extinction of humanity. The evidence for this theory lies in the background of the Cars films, which shows the ruins of human civilization and the fact that there aren't any humans to be seen. Additionally, the cars in the films exhibit a level of intelligence and self-awareness that suggests they are more than just machines, and as it turns out, they are. In fact, their personalities and voices are taken from the last people who drove them, their previous owners. So, oof. With all that said, though, I've been your host, James, and I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the...
Let's just be real here. Most of the theories were like, yes, like common sense. Basically, all they were. And I wish they would like just said which cast member confirmed, which cast member said, oh yeah, this theory actually is real. It makes sense. They didn't really give any sources. They said, oh yeah, this theory happened. And it's just like, well, yeah, it's common sense. Yeah, that's explained in the movie. So it's just like, I don't know, just like. Anyways, guys, continue with this video. Let me know which theory was your favorite below. Was it a theory and then that you know of that wasn't included that it's actually canon? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. But yeah, let's go with this. But yeah, that's gonna be for today's video. You guys take care, stay amazing. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it too. Let's see you in the next one. Peace.